Customer Joshua brings up an interesting question. What is a strategy or strategies in price decreasing markets? In other words, what do you do? That's a little bit different than the last question, but and it has some different answers. But in a price declining market, your negotiation skills, if they're decent, you've done enough of these things, you're going to be able to get, as we mentioned earlier, a lot more properties available. But more importantly, you're going to be able to find those buyers whose house was worth 300,000 who currently owe 100, and they're willing to sell it, and then maybe it's only worth 250 today, but they're willing to sell it for 120. They want the 100 paid off their loan and $20,000. So the deal spreads get much better and much bigger in a price depreciating market. So when the market is going up, 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 and everybody knows about it because it's in all the mainstream media every day, every seller gets that message that, what doesn't stink. And so I'm going to ask for higher, I'm going to try and beat the wave. I'm going to get ahead of it. I'm going to ask for what I think it's going to be in October instead of here in July. But in a downward market, everybody eventually, and I think most of the market is starting to get that memo. There's no stupid money still to come into the market. So, what was a $300,000 house? Now we're 250, and you owe 100 on. Uh, you know, 2 years ago, we would have guys say, "Well, I owe 100, and I'll sell it for 250." And they have the problem; they have to certain amount of time. They got to get out, or they're behind on payments or things like that. And they would just hold for the to see if they could sell for 300 and or 250 or something like that. Here, you're going to be able to get these guys that are going to be preconditioned when they come into the discussion. They're going to already be preconditioned, and their mind frame is going to be set that I'll be lucky to get out with the skin of my teeth on this deal. In other words, what I owe the bank. And so they're already coming at it from a more of a pauper mindset. Please, sir, give me some more. Just get the best that you can get, and that's where your negotiation positions. And like I said, I would negotiate. In fact, for those of you who haven't done this, I used to train this particular product. It's called Sandler Sales System. There's a book called "You Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike at a Seminar." You can find it on Amazon. It's one of the best. It's what we train all of our salespeople, and we try and train our students on. It's one of the best ways to be able to negotiate with folks out there in the field. So get a copy of that and learn the sales techniques. Don't scare yourself that, like I'm selling. You're not really selling, you're buying a property, but you have to be able to negotiate. So you don't need great sales skills, you need great negotiation skills. That's available when you read this book. It'll tell you kind of how to do that.